Hare Krishna. Om Vyasa-puja Kanana Swami. I made some notes this time, what everyone was talking about, and yeah, Rupa Sanatan picked up on our conference yesterday, and he bounced off that conference. The idea of the conference was really not so much to stress individualism, but more to kind of make everyone, bring everyone to a point of making a conscious choice in their spiritual life, from how am I going to be a devotee, so that I can actually appreciate my spiritual life, that it really becomes my, mine, part of me, not from like, oh, here's spiritual life and there I am and I'm trying to fit in, you know what I'm saying? That's not the idea. The idea was, no, everyone is an individual, and as such we have a need to engage some of our individual nature so that our spiritual life becomes our own, that we begin to own it, sort of like everyone can understand that I'm a musician and I have to do that, but it became purified, it became Krishnized, and in the end, Krishna became more important than the music, and then, now I can only find it in kirtan. So it is in this way, you can be an actor, but at one point you just can't do mundane plays anymore. You just won't be able to, just like lose all taste. And then Krishna has to be part of it. So whatever it is, at one point Krishna has to be part of it. So this is how Krishna consciousness grows naturally, and that is how we come to, ultimately, as Rupa analyzed it, to our spiritual identity. Gopinath Acharya made one point which I noted down, and which was don't take but give in relation to the spiritual master. And that is like a big turning point. Whereas in the beginning we look at what we are getting, what mercy am I getting, how much attention am I getting, how much personal time am I getting, but the real thing is this: it is true, when our spiritual master is present on the planet, we can look at how much we are getting, but much more so it is, what are we trying to contribute to our spiritual master? For that we have to understand what he wants, who he is, and that's the change we want to see in people. Not, oh, you gave me this, oh, you did this, you did that. No. What did you do? What did you do? What are you doing to push on this mission? Because I want to multiply. And when I took sannyas, someone said to Jayadvaita Maharaj, oh, now you've multiplied yourself. Now, of course, I said, no, a dim reflection, and it is. It's not like, because my spiritual master is a spiritual giant, right? I mean, lightning intelligence and extremely astute in the philosophy. I'll never catch up in terms of learning, I don't even try to get to that level, because I don't have that ability that Jayadvaita Maharaj has. Jayadvaita Maharaj is naturally detached, right? completely natural. Sannyas is so natural to him. He didn't have to try it on, sort of, and to get into the role. It was just sort of a perfect fit, completely. He took at 29, so me, I took at 44. Anyway, I tried to follow in the footsteps of my spiritual master and do something for my spiritual master. Of course, my spiritual master, when he walks, he floats. Don't know if you've noticed that, but he kind of has a way of walking where he floats. And it's not just this walking, it's the way he deals with the material world. He does things, he sort of generally floats through. Me, when I follow in his footsteps, I'm on the ground. And I get scratched and bitten and whatever is there on the ground, but somehow or other I'm trying to do some service for my spiritual master. I think that's what I need also. It's after all I'm 65 now, and it does mean, it is a milestone in everyone's life. It means that, my doctor said 60 is the youth of old age, and I guess now I'm going into the thick of it, and see what it will bring. Somewhere said, I don't need his massage, but that's how it used to be, Nowadays, I need Swami. You haven't offered it yet, but he always offers, this time he didn't. But he has healing hands, and I can use it. The King's Day. The Shrikachatadasi fast all day. Ooh, kirtan at night. I can hardly speak today. So, yeah. See, somehow or other was here in Radhadesh. I got a cold because we were doing an abhishek and they opened up all the windows. Sort of right here, those windows, the doors there, and those windows. And the wind was freezing, literally freezing, on my back. And I got, besides pneumonia, I got extreme muscle cramps. In my back, in my neck, everywhere. And as a result, I couldn't move. And Sutapa, it took a while before he understood how to lift and so on without causing pain. So I let him know when he heard me with sweet words. And then he was putting oil on my back, as he used to describe, not only the gamsha, but they put the oil, and the oil was cold. So I go, this oil is cold, it's useless. Go and heat it up. He was heating it up. It was still cold. Then he brought it back for the third time. And then, is it hot? He put his finger in and he burned his finger. I felt really sorry. So yeah, what can I say? I never liked being dependent on other people, but I am dependent on other people. Not only physically dependent on other people to put some oil on my back. That's a small thing. No, I'm getting more and more dependent on other people to push on this movement. Right? You have to push on this movement. You have to take it and do it, and that's what I want. And that's the gift I want. Like socks, I get lots of socks. I have actually one plastic box here with socks. I never use them. It's just a plastic box with socks. I can give them away if anyone wants some socks. Okay, before you go, I'll give you all a sock. Whoever wants a sock. Because I don't know what to do with all these socks. I don't know what to do. How many hats can I wear on my one head? And I'm fussy and I'm peculiar about these things. But what I really need is let's push on this movement. Right? The world is on fire. Sansara Dava Nadali Dava Nala means a forest fire blazing. Let's put it out. Right? Let's embrace that mission of Srila Prabhupada and let's understand that we have to do it. Every year in Prabhupada's house, they do the arti to Prabhupada, and we're standing at the bed, and they put the chadar of Prabhupada on our head at the end. It's a heavy chadar. And I always feel like now we have to do it. And I like that moment. It gives me strength. It gives me my focus. We have to do it. All of us. And no one... And those are the disciples that will really get my attention. You know, the ones that will do something. Yes, I can talk to you. Yes, I can give you lots of hours, you know, but you get my real attention if you really do something to push on this movement. That's what I want. And yeah, that's the most important. That's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. You know, we sometimes hear the picture of Prabhupada, so sweet, so inspiring, but Prabhupada was heavy. Prabhupada was pushing his man to do like extremely difficult things, and he wanted it now. Right? Prabhupada was extremely impatient, a quality which I like in him, and he wanted things immediately. So, like, and when they brought the Krishna book, right? Prabhupada said it should be there for his Vyasa-puja, and then after the Vyasa-puja was over, they gave him the Krishna book. And Prabhupada said, "You're too late. You're too late. You should have. I told you the Vyasa-puja." So, all right, you know, yeah, there's not a lot of time. There's not a lot of time. The world is going crazy. It's absolutely mad, right? All around us. The news is getting crazier, the tension is building up. Books are very precious. It's still possible now to easily print books, easily distribute books. It's not necessarily always going to be like that. You know, it's not that this is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, book distribution forever. Not necessarily. You know, who knows when the oppressive governments will come in and when it will all not be so easy anymore. It happened many times in history. So it is a window of opportunity. So I just give a few examples. So what I like to see is that we do something. And if you do something, you know, like, yes, then the mercy really starts flowing. I remember I was on Tamal Krishna Maharaj's Disappearance Festival in Mayapur, the first one. And there was one Chinese lady. And she was telling how Tamal Krishna Maharaj treated her. And Tamal, she said, he was, like, she was distributing books. And she did about 25 books a day. And Maharaj said, no, I want you to do 100 books. She said, I cannot do 100 books. It's not possible. He said, I want you to do 100 books. And he wouldn't let her off, you know, and she thought it's ridiculous. I cannot do 100 books. And she couldn't do 100 books. But finally when he disappeared, then she did 100 books. And what can you say, you know? We have to somehow or other fulfill the desire of our spiritual master. We are in a line of spiritual masters who want to deliver the three worlds. That is what we want to do. That is what it's all about. So, make a contribution. So yes, giving is what I want. Sadhuj was about being on the same page. All right, you know, we are individuals. We cannot. It's like you find a spiritual master, you surrender to the spiritual master externally, right? You follow sort of externally the mood of the spiritual master, and then time goes on, and you serve and you serve and you serve, and you find differences between you and your spiritual master, differences in nature. You find he has a different character than you. He may have different opinions sometimes, you know. And what do you do then? You know, I mean, you also feel it's like you also feel you cannot be a cat copy, right? You cannot be a cat copy. We're not meant to be clones. We're meant to be. So what to do? All right. We can do things a little different, but things that are really important to our spiritual master, of course, that we cannot just ignore. But the main thing is, let's take the spirit of our spiritual master. Right? Let's take that spirit. And like, Sadhguru has been close to me, especially in the past, you know, before he changed the ashram, because well, once he changed ashram, he got a little bit busy with that ashram. And that happens sometimes with these ashrams. But not to everybody, you know. Everyone who becomes a grihastha gets quite busy with an ashram. That's the nature of the grihastha ashram. It's a busy ashram. But what I particularly liked about Sadhguru, and still like, is his preaching spirit, his creativity, you know, like the Ask a Monk program, he invented that, right? Others took it, but it was his idea. So many ideas he has for preaching, good ideas. Sadhguru knows how to make devotees, right? Made many devotees. So that is our page, Sadhguru. That's the page. You know, let's make devotees. Let's spread Krishna consciousness. I don't care where or how or what, but let's do it. Right? That's our page, you know, and let's just be there. Bahul Asra was looking at what gifts he got from me in terms of knowledge, stories, kirtan, and many things. And he also mentioned that I was there at the time of a crisis. I mean, somehow or other, his wife, who was much younger than he was, suddenly had a severe, was it a liver or a kidney failure? I think liver failure or kidney failure. Anyway, organ failure. I forgot now. And needed a transplant immediately. She went to the hospital and they immediately said, transplant right now. And she didn't make it. She didn't make it through the transplant. So in 48 hours, I think, the whole thing was over. 48 hours. From healthy to boom, in the hospital and gone. So, that was something. But yeah, life is bringing us many things, and of course, we are there, you know, at that time. Of course, you know, times like that, I feel a personal relationship with all of you. I feel I'm personally interested in your welfare, and yeah, I mean, as the girls were singing, you know, I'll be there, right? I'll be there. You can call on me. child from Germany is a Euro GBC, and sometimes, takes those duties very serious, and that is also important, taking responsibility in this movement. And I'm glad that Krishna made him my disciple, because I can always remind him, don't forget to manage with the heart. Leadership has to be with the heart. If the leadership in our movement, yes, systems are needed, yes, policies are needed, meetings are needed, eatings are needed, all these things. But ultimately, we are only going to be in this movement because we want to be. So we need that. So we need our GBCs to put their heart into this movement. So I pray that my Euro GBC disciple will take note of that. Tirumala gave a whole list of being not qualified. No, we are all qualified. We're all qualified. We're qualified by the statement of Rupa and Sanatana, who said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the deliverer of the most fallen. So we're all qualified. We're all qualified for being not qualified. And so you qualify, and all of us qualify. But now we have to take it, and that mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you get it through Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda is always serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. But to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, you got to go through the disciplic succession, which means Srila Prabhupada, and ultimately through me. I'm a very demanding person. And as I'm getting older, I'm getting more demanding. When I was younger, I was less demanding. Now, some people, they get less demanding by age, but not me. I'm getting more demanding. Because I feel like, let's get something done now. Time is running out. See, I did a couple of books. So you owe me a book, remember? She is very artistic. She can make amazing things, so I told her to make one of these pop-up books for kids, right? So when is it going to be finished? When? That won't be possible, because I'll be there on the 4th of May. So I'll let you off with that statement. September. Okay. September. It's got to be finished by September. Like that, and Prabhupada would do that. Deadlines, Chaitanya Charitamrita, 17 volumes, 2 months. Then, so I want just one pop-up book by September. I'll let you off easy. Janitai is getting nervous. Well, Janitai. Yes, Janitai. And you have a reason to get nervous, because I want you to really take leadership, spiritual leadership. And you are a brahmachari, and forget it, you're not meant for marriage. You make a hopeless husband. Don't even look at him, girls. He doesn't look good anyway. So, no, it's okay. It's good fortune. So yes, he said he likes it that I said high goals. Well, it's not only the high goal of Krishna praying something lofty in the sky, it is a high personal goal. Right? Whereas I want you to really come up in a role of spiritual leadership and preach and speak. You've distributed books for years, now explain the books also, and keep on distributing books, and explain the books more and more. So you have to study them as well, thoroughly. Right? So I helped you to get your book on the Nature of Devotion, so I hope to do the CC as well, see what else. But yes, that's what I would like. Scribbled. Oh, that was Vishwambar. Yeah, so I do want that massage, Vishwambar. I don't know if he's here, but somebody can tell. Ah, there he is. Yeah, and you know how I am. When you come, I say, oh, time. You just have to force me. That's how it works. Because it would help. Yeah, Kunti was saying something about critical thinking. I know all about it. I also have because we are managers, and managers, they always see how things can be organized, right, in a more efficient way. So it's very hard when you're a manager. You're like, oh my God, oh no. And you always see everything, the kid is getting close to the open window and get like, oh no. You see like anything I see, so managers, they naturally think critical. But as long as we translate that into service, into positive service, in doing something positive for this movement, then it gets purified. Otherwise, that kind of critical thinking can easily go into fault finding. See, when you sit on the side and you look around, you say, oh, they're doing this wrong. Oh my God, can't they do anything right? Oh no. Oh, look at that. Oh, is everybody hopeless? That kind of critical thinking can lead to outright criticism. But if we use our critical thinking, and instead of thinking, oh, they can't do anything, let us then do it. Let us then, if we can see how to do it, then it also means you have to do it. When Krishna makes you see something, it means that you have to do something. That's what it means. That's what saves me from my critical thinking. At least that's my formula. When I start thinking critically, then I try to do something positive. Tulsi's told stories, some of them I forgot. He has had a lot of good fortune, our Tulsi, because Tulsi, somehow or other, he wanted to study in Mayapur, and then that became a way of life. And every year he spends the winter in Mayapur studying now for many, many years. And actually it's really done, it's really done him good. He got a lot of association, then comes back to Europe in the summer and preaches. So let Tulsi just continue for the rest of his life, just doing these things, spending time in the Holy Land, studying, teaching, and then come back to the West and teach, and in that way also become a strong spiritual leader. Yeah, Harinamananda and his Indian accent jokes. Well, I do many accents actually. Harinamananda. It is possible also to do other accents than only Indian accent. But because I try to build bridges to people. I don't just try to give Krishna consciousness just straight, cut, dry, and just repeat the book as it's written in the book like a tape recorder. I'm trying to give the message of the book, but I wrap it up sometimes in some Indian action, anything. The things I don't do, sometimes it's outrageous, but I hope that all this can help to make people, that all my jokes will help to make people take Krishna consciousness serious. So there are many gurus, and amongst my disciples I have one kangaroo from Australia. He just bounces and bounces around all over the planet, and I hope it keeps on bouncing for many years to come. Somehow, keep it up. The Hare now. I mean, Vyasa-puja, how old is he now? 73, still going strong. so you know, you got to do at least that much, you know. And it's transcendental competition, you know, so just do it a bit longer than Vyasa-puja, and she'll be right, you know. No worries, man. Yeah, Namarupa is always very happy to, happily doing service, you know. So it's very nice to hear that she went out on the Christmas marathon, and she really did a nice marathon and happily did it, you know. So I appreciate that quality. I really think it is good. Janavi Chandrika, I'm not sure if she's still my youngest disciple. She's getting older, you know. Little by little, right? Yeah, we go back a long way, right? From even 3 or 4. She remembers me, and that from the cow, that was pretty nice. Yeah, so let's just carry on and be devotees. She's on the Czech farm. It's a nice farm because it has a natural simplicity. Because Czech preserved something of that, you know, which in the West we don't have anymore. We call something an eco-village, but it doesn't look as eco as that Czech farm. That Czech farm looks quite nice and simple. So I don't know where Janavi Chandrika will wind up, but if you stay on the farm, that'll be good, and then you can preach to the people who come to the farm. Krishna Kirtan spoke about dependence, going deep, and managing our rounds. Yeah, so that dependence, as I said, my dependence on you is increasing. When I was younger, when I first started as a spiritual master, I was flying around at a high pace. For example, I would go to India and in Kartik, and I would fly back to Europe for Govardhan Puja, do 3 Govardhan Pujas, and be back for Prabhupada's disappearance day in Vrindavan. I would do it every year. Right? And it was really good, the 3 Govardhan Pujas and so on. They were lots of fun. Now, I just couldn't do that any longer. I would croak it somewhere on the way. That would be just too much. So you have to do it. You have to do the ecstatic Govardhan Pujas now, right? It's like when I was in Vrindavan and I was temple president, there was a time when I had some exchanges with Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and somehow or other between myself and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, maybe Maharaj was a powerful buck with horns, you know, and maybe I was a smaller one with horns, and I always wanted to try my horns on the big one, you know, so I tried my horns on Maharaj sometimes. And Maharaj also did things to me. I'll tell you one more Tamal Krishna Maharaj story in a moment. But so Tamal Krishna Maharaj was chanting many rounds, and he would stay in his bhajan kutir. And it was a big festival. So I wrote a letter to Maharaj, and I said, Maharaj, I said, like, all these devotees are here now in the Holy Dham, and all these devotees have come, and they're very eager for mercy. And they need mercy. I said, but the senior devotees, they are now at home chanting many rounds. Said, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you got so much mercy from Srila Prabhupada, you are like a golden pot, studded with jewels of personal association. You can give so much mercy. That in your absence, of course, I'll do it, but all I have is this little iron pot, you know, and I'll run up and down as fast as I can, and I give as much mercy as I can, but it's not enough. So anyway, you may look at me like I am the one now who has the big pot of mercy, and you don't have much, the small one, but still, I'm asking you to use your small pot, and you do it. You may go, you be the kirtan of Govardhan Puja. You be the one who built the amazing hill. You make the festival. Right? You make the difference. Because I depend on you. I depend on you to do these things. Because that is how this movement will be a success. I'm running over time like anything, which is not good. But I've done this, and this is just a few scribbles here. Yeah, Sukadev, yeah, his father gave him to me. And then I had to fight to get him into school eventually. That happened. But it was a perfect arrangement. Because somehow or other, we share that, you know, that deep connection. I don't know where he went, but that deep connection with Vrindavan. That is deep in our heart. Even when we are not there, we're always in Vrindavan. And in this way, although, you know, you have your life, I have mine, but we're still together, in a way. And that will never go away. Right? So, we are one of a kind, you know, the Vrindavan devotees. Right? That's a particular breed, you know. No, it is. Somehow or other we joined in Vrindavan, and those who joined in Vrindavan who were something special about that. Maybe like a Radhadesh devotee, or like a Bhaktivedanta Nana devotee. We are Vrindavan devotees. Okay, and we'll always be Vrindavan devotees. So, thank you for coming this time and bringing Vrindavan here by telling these stories. Vasudev spoke about spiritual strength and sees me as a source of spiritual strength. Of course, I don't think I'm so spiritually strong, but I'm holding on to those who are spiritually strong. Because I had enough. I had enough of the material world, that's for sure. The material world, forget it, you know. I mean, it's not worth it. I can't think of anything in the material world which would be a reason to stay in the material world. Okay, for preaching, I'll be in the material world if they really want to. But if my superiors don't really tell me to do it, I'll go back to God and I'll smile, you know? I'll smile down upon those who still behind. I'll send a representative for the slows, you know? Like, Sutapa can do it. or you'll have to find somebody. You'll have to make somebody to do it. Somehow or other, we'll do it. But by service, Balaram represents service. So the key is devotional service. Somehow or other, yes, I have not said no to devotional service. And yeah, so somehow or other, let's do that, do service. Well, thanks to Gita Govinda and Rati for the song. That was a good song. I missed Gurudas on here, but he also did a good song. And yeah, and for the sacrifice in Amsterdam. They both are making a sacrifice in Amsterdam. And Rati for the drum solo. For being what Amsterdam is a dynamic place, so the Amsterdam devotees have to be dynamic. Otherwise, they'll never get a foot on the ground in that place. This is one of those places. You can't just sit in the temple and think, let there be a bigger temple. The only way there will be a bigger temple if you go out from the temple and you do things outside the temple. On the street, in homes, in halls, wherever you do it. Because Amsterdam is the heart of the Netherlands. And so many places are nearby, very close. So somehow or other, let us preach widely from Amsterdam. Then Amsterdam will flourish. David Damodar and Anjali, yeah, that was very nice. Anjali was supposed to be initiated, and then she couldn't get a visa. So she was my first and only Skype disciple, because last minute she couldn't come. So it was very good that she came today. It was very good that all of you came. I appreciate it very much. Yeah. Let us then have the final part. That makes prasadam half an hour. So let's do this whole Guru Puja thing within half an hour. And then take prasadam. Or you had anything else? So I need assistance to help me with these books. I had asked someone to take them all out of plastic, and I gave him my pocket knife, but he disappeared with my pocket knife. Now they're all in plastic, so start ripping off the plastic as fast as you can. Meanwhile, who's going to lead the kirtan? Okay, go for it. Grab a mic, start singing.